Well, good evening from the Fredericktown homestead. We're having a little bit of a weather event. The cats seem to like it. Yeah, we got that's little female, and I just saw there's male. That's male and that's female. Can you tell them apart? The gray and white one is the male, and the white and gray one is female. But if you look at their tail end, you can see he's got a few extra pieces and parts. Yeah, we're having a weather event. Kind of fun. I'd like to show you what's been going on. A lot's been going on. We've been doing some work here in the Quonset hut and the planer. I took off the dust evacuation system. It wasn't working for beans, and we get a lot better shavings this way. See, we get some nice big shavings this way, and all I got to do is shovel them up and put them in the wheelbarrow. But I've been here you go. This whole stack right here of slats is all planed to 1/4 inch. Both sides clear, both sides, except for that little place right there. But yeah, you got to trim out a little here and there, and you got to rip some of them because they're not. Well, we're going to rip almost everything because if you see these sides that came to us from the mill, they're not gluable. But if we run them through the table saw, we can make gluable sides. And yeah, Mister wants to help out here. And, yeah, we've been working on that, and then we've been working on trimming around the windows inside. We've been using some of this cherry wood. I cleaned it up on the planer, and it's not sensational. It's not a lot of character to the wood, but it's cherry and it's pretty. And Roger rips it down to what he needs and builds the trim around the windows and doors. And so that's what that's all about. We got all the slats that we have indoors now. We got this many. Well, we got three packets so far, and when the snow stops, we'll get the other 3. And I have high hopes to stick this in the living room and dry it down. I've got a moisture tester, and these slats run, they vary, but a lot of them are at 14%. So we got to bring them down to 8%. Yeah, they're kind of grew together with mold in places, so I had to split them apart. But these ones that Roger brought in, they're all loose, so we shouldn't have a problem with them sticking together. And you can see he's been working on cleaning stuff out. This is a pile of cherry here. It needs to be restuck. You see, it's stuck okay down to about 4 courses, maybe 6. But then you got a course of 6-footers, and then you got some 16-footers on the very top. And we've got to go right through it and stick it properly. We got to make it so it will be usable, because you see these bending ones down, these 16-footers that are bending over. That's no good. You need support under every stick and sticking it properly. And all of this just general lumber here is stuff that was found around the place, mostly on top of this cherry pile. But Roger's got that. He's using a lot of this on the window trim, and runs it through the planer, and makes it real pretty and makes it the right dimension. And after he rips down, he's got these slats, and I chop them down with the chop saw here, this thing, and make them short and make them into kindling. I also keep a 5-gallon pail of these shavings in by the stove, so at night if we get right down to just embers, you just put a good handful of these shavings on there and that takes right off. I wanted to make sure to show you that. I just wanted to show you too some of the farm here, the homestead. We're just today signing our rental agreement. We're working with the landowner. We're going to be working off our rent, as it were. We've got a legal document that I got to sign and send tonight, but I think we got most of the language worked out, and the place will be ours to use as long as we keep improving it and keep doing stuff that adds to the value of the farm. Yeah, it's this little section right here, these weeds, that's going to be garden. And I wanted to burn it off before the snow came, but I tried and it wouldn't burn quite. But you can see there's a lot of prickly pears in there, a lot of really nasties. But I think if it's burned off and then tarped, we can do good. And then I have one more thing to show you. I've shown you before, but it's been on my mind a lot. This backhoe. Someone told me they thought it was a 33, it's a 3400. There's the number on it, 3400. Okay, that's a 3400. Now, I'd love to find a little plate that told me all about it, but I haven't found that yet. I talked to my Amish friend that works on such things, and he told me just put a battery in it and see if it starts. And another friend of mine told me to look for spark plug wires, and that's how I can tell if it's diesel or gas. Can anybody tell me by what you see in the dark? Let me, unfortunately, I can't just open up these doors to give you a light. I'd like to be able to. But I don't see no sign of spark plugs on this side. Seems those are spark plugs. I'm guessing it's diesel. What's your guess? What's your guess? The keys in the ignition. Yeah. So put a battery in it, and if it starts, tend to this flat tire and just keep going the best we can. I'm not a mechanic. I can't, I don't know enough about it. I grow things, but as far as machinery, I try and get somebody else to do that. I can operate this thing, that's no problem. But, yeah. This would be a real asset to the homestead if we could only just get the thing up and going. I see that the hoe is leaning on the ground. That might mean there's a leak in the hydraulic somewhere or something. It's not holding itself up. But it might have been put down when the guy parked it in here. I was told that it was driven in here. This thing's been on my mind. I went to my Amish friend that used to work on these, and he said, I don't do that no more, and didn't want to help me with it. So I respect that. But I don't want to take it to some English shop and be sent a bill and told that it doesn't have no computer, so they can't work on it. I don't know. One suggestion was to find a Facebook group that could tell me more about these kind of things and walk me through the mechanical things. Roger might be able to do more of that than me. I tell you, I'm just not a mechanic. Some things I am, mechanics not one of them. That's been on my mind. And the barn here is a little bit of a bone of contention in our contract deal. The owner of the land here didn't think we wanted, or didn't think he wanted to let us use the barn. Without the barn, it's pretty much a no-go, because we can't raise no critters, we can't milk, we can't raise oxen. You need a barn, and we've got a barn, and it's not being used. So one thing we need is a home for a bunch of tires. We got enough tires to bunker down a silo, drive over silo. But yeah, so that's how things are on the Fredericktown homestead. Some of you may have seen in some of my Facebook posts all of the greenery that Sandra's been putting up. You can see there her grow lights. She's got 4 shelves of grow lights with seeds sprouting underneath. We're going to have some microgreens here for a while, and she wants to set up a hothouse. We got this window here, and we got several other windows that we're hoping to make a hothouse. And yeah, so that's the situation here at the homestead, the Fredericktown homestead today. One thing that we have been contemplating is a sign. The owner, DeRosa, I'd like to honor his name for the farm. It was on the contract, and that's how we found out about it. But I'd also like a sign that says Fredericktown Homestead. It might have a gray and white cat on the sign, I don't know. And another thought I had was to utilize that silo as a place for a nice big sign. Not Fredericktown Homestead, but something, the name of this farm from way back. There is a name, I can't remember it, it's on the contract, but wouldn't it be nice to whiten up that silo and put a name on it, put a nice big sign on it, nice and neat. All ideas that we have. This lean-to here, this goes to the crop farmer that leases the crop land, 150 acres of beans and corn. So we're not going to have use of that lean-to, but that's okay. We've got the scrap metal guy coming right soon, tomorrow I think, and he's going to take away whatever he can take of the scrap metal. So Roger's been working on gathering up scrap metal. It's a snowy day here at the homestead. I hope, excuse me, I hope all is well with you guys. Yeah, cats say it's time to go inside. So I wish you a God bless, and if I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas.